Yeah, it's coming. I can see it.
We are live on Twitch.
I don't see my videos off.
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear. Hey, Olivia.
Hello, Jose. How is everybody?
Hi.
We are here, hanging out for a few minutes, waiting for everybody to come online and watch us geofence and alien sightings.
Yes.
Because it's a regular Tuesday at TomTom.
Yeah, I have a comment from a colleague saying that the music was a little bit too loud.
Oh.
So it's good for this time. I refrain myself to put some music.
Yes, I did like the music in the past episodes, though. It's fun, but we can adjust the music.
Yeah, indeed.
Sometimes you want some tranquil streaming without music. Sometimes
True.
It's a party. You never know. You have to assess the mood.
And what is today? Today we have a party or we have a quiet stream?
Today I guess it's a quiet stream.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
today. Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's interesting. I think both of us during this Twitch stream, we both have new machines. Because our machines decided to both go down during the first season of our Twitch stream. So I think we definitely earned some sort of star for like IT survival club. Sustaining the stream.
I think you have the record of installing everything for the Twitch stream on OBS and OBS do the new version.
We've reinstalled everything so many times on so many different machines.
Indeed, it was challenging.
Let's see what's going on. So let's hang out for a few more minutes and
so what
people come to
last
the
episode?
stream.
Last episode. Yeah, it was about the fleet and logistics as well, right? We did something about
last time we talked
routing.
about fleet and logistics and truck routing, and we did a James Bond truck route from Hong Kong to Macau, which was very fun. And then I think we did some routing in Roswell, and then that's why I brought up Roswell for this stream. We did something like that.
Well, I have something special for you for your for this event, for this episode. You will see, since you like all alien stuff and science fiction.
Yes, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. Anybody who knows me knows this.
So it was I got couple of feedback and comments from our previous Devisode. Very enthusiastic people because of Hong Kong. They didn't know that we actually had very good maps from Hong Kong area and Macau. Yeah, especially when they see the 3D buildings and everything. And we already sent them more API keys, of course, for testing because
why not?
But they cannot use this one. This is for our Twitch.
That's true. We have a specific Twitch key, which I'm also going to paste on the stream. So
you have it already?
Yeah, I have it. So to use...
Yep.
Gonna add it on the stream for everybody. Oh, I have a suggestion to check out some extraterrestrial encounters, which I'll most likely do, because I'm always game to see something about aliens. But I suppose now that we have some people on the stream, we should probably get started too.
So Olivia, as a non-American, I mean, I'm not from the US, so what happened in Roswell exactly?
So that's the fun part. So Roswell was allegedly an alien UFO crash, but it was officially a military balloon crash, which I think I talk about, somewhere toward the end of the slides in terms of what we're actually going to be mapping, because that's the fun part. But there's a bunch of other sightings, like the Phoenix lights was a great one, which I think is 97, where these mysterious lights appeared over the hills in Phoenix, so there's fun ones. But Roswell, I feel like, is the most well-known one. So
it's not like I thought the most quintessential alien place is Area 51.
But we can't geofence that area. It's a military base, so we don't want to do that.
We don't want to go there.
We don't want to get in trouble on the stream. But let's see. We've been talking about...
in today's episode, where we are going to be talking about what?
We're going to be talking about, we're going to use the Geofences Creator. We're going to fetch with the Location History API and do some simple fence reports. This is talking about asset tracking, and so we're going to do that in a basic way with object services, which is basically an object moving in and out of a perimeter. The geofences and getting how far outside a fence something is or inside, etc. We're going to use some custom geometry from point locations too.
Very nice. I have prepared also some extra examples or a demo code using both APIs, using the Geofencing API on one side and using also the Location History API on the other side. And we're gonna see how it goes, the nuisances, because it's quite a lot that we have to go over.
It's a little complex. It's a complex day on the stream.
Yeah, a little bit complex, especially everything that is related to Geofencing API or location.
Yep.
It's always have to do with tracking or security or privacy, right? So we had to create a new layer of security, right?
You have to create a new layer of security to sort of have the consent for sending these point locations, which we'll obviously get to when we start sending those locations in the demo. But that's an extra part of privacy that gets involved with geofencing. Being a huge privacy nerd, I always love to write about privacy and geofencing and all these sorts of implications. So it's a good topic. They go hand in hand.
Indeed. So what else?
See what else are we doing? So these are some sort of just basics of if you're on the stream and you're saying, what is geofencing? What are we doing? What is this? I haven't been here before. What's going on? So I took some sort of basic entity definitions out of the documentation. Said, okay, well, what are these terms that we're going to be using, right? Like a configuration is just all the projects that you have and the fences and objects that you have included. And the admin key, which is the extra layer of security we were talking about, right?
Yes.
You have the project, which is what encompasses all of your fences, right? And has its own ID.
Yep.
And you have then the actual fence, which is, what we'll be laying out, and that's your fence part of the geofence, right? And then you have your geofence report, which is a much more of a complex topic that we'll try and break down a little bit, but that's sort of your basic definition of a geofencing report.
Just to check if something is inside, outside, in what fences.
Exactly.
And the geofences are, of course, any geometrical shape, a corridor, a rectangle, a circle, a polygon. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have I sort of broke down the very basic process of how do you add a fence to a project. So you create a fence, you pass it with the admin key, and you get it back, and then you create the polygon, and that's when you can actually paint it, fetch it, and actually display it on the map. So that's sort of a very brief overview of the sort of multi-step complex process that we'll paint out. That will take a lot closer to an hour, I think, than we're used to for a few things. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we revisit it. Yeah. We're here. We're still learning on the stream about what the good pacing is for everybody. So we'll see how it goes. And you can ping us with questions, and I'll spam you back. It will be fine.
Okay.
And then this is the Geofences Creator that we'll actually be using, which is a simpler way to go ahead and start out with the geofencing. And it's on our GitHub, so you can download it and configure it yourself in a few simple steps. It's easy to sort of get up and running. We'll talk about how to configure it too. But this is the simple way to start with it. So you're not doing everything by hand necessarily.
Indeed, that will take a while.
It's going to take a while, and this is what you're going to be using today, right, Jose?
Yes. We're gonna be using the Geofencing Creator, indeed. So let me just quickly go on. Also, most of these API calls are going to try to do it in JavaScript, and also I was planning to use curl, but then why write everything again when you can use we could use Postman.
So we're going to use Postman.
I created a Postman collection that I will share at the end of the session today. So if people are interested, you can have all these commands with their own
makes it a lot easier. We do the heavy lifting basically for you on the stream. You can watch us do it. And then I have the mission slide, which is the mission that we were talking about before. So we're going to do some geofencing. If you're joining the stream, basically the TLDRs, we're going to pull, we're going to use some city limits from Roswell, and we're going to geofence a city. And if you don't know what Roswell is or where it is, so that's the site of the UFO incident, which was allegedly a UFO crash which was actually just an Air Force balloon.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Or they're really aliens and, the truth is out there. So there's that. I always love alien theories. If you want to spam alien theories in the chat, please do so, because I will enjoy it. Jose might be annoyed. I will enjoy it.
Yes, Scully.
All right, and so I'll swap the share over to Jose, and then.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Let
me see if I have the correct screen now.
Find the screen. Let's find the screen.
Yes. You can shoot the.
Let's do it.
You can transfer. Yes.
Very cool.
Okay, so this is the developer portal, and this is the documentation for the Geofencing API. And the first thing I believe that we have to do is, as you mentioned before, is to get the admin key. So this is the extra layer of security that we have to have in hand first. And we do that with the configuration service. It's right here. We have to register, or get, in this case, generate an admin key. I will not go through that. I will just go through Postman. I'll show you where is the code. Well, let me see. The code to register the admin key is very simple. It's just calling this URL. We need our API key, and we need just to set up I want to register a new API key.
And you need the API key when you configure the Geofences Creator.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. So let me just see my Postman screen. I think it's visible now. Let's wait a moment if you can see our right.
Postman.
So I have created this collection. It's using the calls that we're gonna do in this walk around, that is tutorial. I will be adding more later on. Let's see. First, I'm register and get the admin key. So as we mentioned before, the URL. Let me see if we can increase the size of this a little bit more, so it's easier to read. How about that?
Nice zoom.
Nice zoom.
Quality zoom so on Postman.
Yeah. So you will just give us an API. We're going to register. Let me just check the authorization. This is the current API key that we have for the episode.
And that's the one that's still pasted in the chat. If somebody asks, I can always repaste it in the chat, but that's the one we're going to be using, so that way we don't have to worry about hiding the key.
Okay. And we're going, content types as usual is application JSON. And in the body, we have to send our secret. And it's our password, a password that you're not supposed to forget anywhere. Please do not forget that. So I'm going to call it Devisodes secret.
Very secret episode.
It's a very secret one, yes. And then I'm going to execute it. Let's go here, let's send a request, and voila, we have an admin key. So this admin key is extremely important. We have to save that admin key because we're going to use it for almost every call that we're going to do today. I'm going to...
Yeah, we have to use it with both geofencing and with location history, right?
That is correct. So I'm going to put it in my admin key. Very good. I'm going to save it in a file here. You don't see it right now, but I will save it. Now, of course, if you try to do it again, you will say, "Hey, you already registered. You can do it only once. Please keep your secret safe." Okay, this
Devisodes secret.
Correct. The second thing that we have to do, we continue. What the next step that we have to do? We have already our admin key. Then we have to create a project. We are with the admin key. We're gonna create a project because the project is the object that contains the fences, right?
Yes.
So we need. It's also another object. Let me just create a project here.
And that project can have thousands of fences, right? We can have, I think, hundreds of projects with thousands of fences.
Correct. So we have the admin key here. Creating the project is just passing the API, the endpoint. Sorry, the endpoint is projects. You pass the admin key, which I already have here in the parameters. My admin key. That is not the admin key that we just got, right?
That's not the admin key.
This is another admin key. This is the previous one.
It's another admin key.
Okay, you have to actually paste the new one. We just got that one. This one. And since this is an HTTP post, we have just to say, okay, we're going to create a project, and I want to call it Devisode. Let's see. Authorization. Our API key is over there. Let's run this. How it goes. Ah, it works perfectly. So we have a project.
And now we have a project ID.
And now we have a project ID. With the project ID, I'm just going to copy this value. I'm going to copy this value. I'm going to tell you later where do we copy it.
Because we need the project ID to continue configuring for the Geofences creator.
Yes.
So it's important, the big three, the admin key, the API key, and the project ID.
And the project ID. Now we have these three values. We can, we're going to start adding fences around it. Since we're not going to do it by hand, what we're going to do is using the Geofences Creator. Do you know what the Geofences Creator is? It's actually in the developer portal. It's an application you can download.
You can download it yourself so that way you can follow along, or you can build your own geofences if you don't want to build them in Roswell.
Correcto. And in this case, you can get it in GitHub, and let me see what the GitHub link is.
And then you would just configure the config.js file.
Correct. This is our GitHub repository with the Geofences creator, and in here we have a config JSON file. Sorry, config JavaScript file. And
yes.
And here you will see that we have to place.
We have to pass in
the API key, the admin key, and the project ID key. So that's what we're going to do. I have this file already open. I'm going to show you. I have the file already open here. I'm going to move it here. Let's see if it goes. Can you see my screen?
Yep. So we have the separate file, which is where we're keeping everything.
Yeah.
This is top secret.
Very
top
much.
secret file.
Well, this file, with this file already set it, we just put the Geofences application in some folder, and you run an HTTP server on it, and let's see how it looks like.
Yeah, basically, if you can set up the map display that we did in our first episode, this is not too far away.
Correct.
If you sort of know those basics and you can add in those three variables, you'll be okay.
Let's see. I'm going to, let me see, I have to save this file before I do this. Oh, it's launching in my port 8081. Oh, actually it's here. I already have it open. I think I have to, voila! We have
the map.
We have a map because we have API keys, and it seems to be that also detected the admin key and detected my project. There's no errors, and this
we can start geofencing.
We can start creating fences.
So how long did that take? That took us a very small amount of time to actually set up the Geofences creator, even though we had the information stored already. It was pretty simple. So don't be scared.
Yes, yes, it's just creating a geometrical shape on it. Let's see, where is New Mexico?
There it is.
There it is. What?
Hard to see. Well, no, that's Texas.
That's
we're
Texas.
going over where I am.
El Paso, Arizona.
No, there we go. Arizona, you've gone too far.
Yeah. So
this is right in the middle.
Paso, right in the middle. Okay. We want to go through. We go Roswell, right?
We want to go to Roswell, correct?
Yeah. So we can make a search here, and let's search for Roswell, New Mexico. And
we want to find the UFO. And now we see it.
Yes. So in this one, we see that Roswell. This is the name of the fence that we just saw to create, and we save it. And as you can see,
now we have the city limits of the city of Roswell.
City limits from the search API. We get the city limits, and by default, it will get the geometrical area of the.
So the nice thing is that this is basically created for us. Like you can do a custom geometry, but this one just came out that way because we queried for Roswell, which returned just the entire city.
Correct. Kind of big, huh?
Yeah, I was actually surprised because
smaller?
I feel like there's a lot more space out in New Mexico. There's quite an intimidating amount of space out there.
Yes.
Plenty of room for all the UFOs.
We can also create our own polygon representing what we want to our geofencing. That's the advantage of doing this. Like, let's see, you remove it, create a new one, set up a polygon, and say okay.
So we only want a little piece of Roswell. We only want downtown.
Around the city, something like
Basically.
this. And double click, and we can call it Roswell as well.
So we have the miniature version of Roswell that we created as the custom geometry. Yeah.
Correct. Now that we have created the fence, then we can actually start coding a little bit. We already have the fence already stored in our servers, and let's see how it goes. Nice. Oh, by the way, we can create as many fences. How many fences we need? 1,000, right?
Yeah, we need 1,000 to start breaking it. Correct.
Yes, 1,000 fences you can create here, and in different shapes that you can create. It's quite useful, this fences creator. Very nice.
You want to rectangle an area?
Oh, I don't want to remove it. Stop.
You don't. We want to find the aliens. We don't want to remove the geofence.
We need it. We need this. Cool.
So last time we basically, so we've been working with routing a lot, right? So we had the map display, we had a marker, and then we had the route. So basically, this is a little bit like when we get into the code. We'll have the map display and a marker, but we just basically have the route removed, and we start doing, every time we click, we start pinging the geofence.
Correct. So I have something for you. I have surprise for you. Remember last time, in the last episode, we this is it. Yeah, this is it. When we're doing the routing API with the trucks, I have a small map in here, and we have different markers also to create the routes. Remember? We did that once already.
Yeah, we did the custom marker creation.
Custom marker creation. So I have created a custom marker just for you. When I click on the map,
I'm intrigued.
It's just a little alien. Say.
We found the aliens.
Yeah.
Just a regular Tuesday at TomTom. We found the aliens. There they are.
Yeah. So
this is what are we going to do? Which is a technical term in order to start placing our lines here.
Yeah. So this is the map. Let me see if I can find the code for this because I have the code live. Yeah, this is a map. Right now we just have two buttons to clear the marker and to check for the geofencing, what it is, and this is our API key, of course. I haven't entered my object key, admin key, the fence, the group project ID. Maybe I should start. Adding these variables here, just because
I want to add those in first.
Yeah, just because it will save time later on. So first one is the admin key. I will save it here, and let's see the project ID that we have here. We just created. Okay. Since we're going to be tracking the little alien while it moves around the map, I think we have to create an object as well. I think we have to create an object.
Yes, because that is the object that we're going to be tracking, I suppose.
Yes, and we want to also store the location and store the location historically, the historic location on it, but we can see it later. So we're going back to Postman.
So then in Postman, we get the API key, we create the project, we create the project, now we create the object. And that's the object that moves in and out of the geofence that we see.
Oh yeah. We're gonna create an object here. So obviously
those are the steps so far.
Correct. Oh wait, I don't know why this is my previous admin key. I have to make sure that we pass always the correct one, the correct admin key. We have to make sure the API key is our API key. We're going to pass, this is the object that we want. Well, I created this object. We can put a name on it, some features, characteristics I want to add on. So let's see, it's not a UFO. Should we rename it to something else? Let's call it UFO.
Silence. Call it UFO.
Yeah.
We call it ET.
ET. ET for home.
ET, yep, exactly.
Oh,
We're just making all of the alien references.
yeah. Okay. An object by default can be assigned to a default project. So every time you make a report on it, it will be attached to a specific project. If you don't, later we have other endpoints when you have to pass the project ID. But if you don't pass it, by default, it will try to find out, okay, this object that we're going to reference it on, is it attached to a specific project? And it will look for this default project here. So I'm going to attach here, this is the current project ID that we just created. And we can pass on properties if you want to. Yeah. So
it's a UFO, even though ET is an alien, it's a UFO, which is fine. I think this is fine.
Really? Okay.
It could be.
Fine. Okay.
We're being
so
creative.
We have to create an object. Let's see if it's correct. Let's execute. Let's see how it goes. Oh, wait, success. We have successful. We have created an object called ET.
Create an ET kind of
correct. And I need this object ID. Always to have the copy of the object ID somewhere, which we're going to need it for our application, because when we are going to pass the location, I want to say is this object, specific object. So let's come here. Good. Let's copy the data here. Now, also, since we are going to be, we just created a fence, right?
Sorry?
We just created a fence.
We just created a fence.
It's called Roswell.
The Roswell
How about
fence, yes.
I think we should display it in the application as well. Like we want to
display it so we can see the ET, whether he's in or out of Roswell. That's the point.
See it visibly. So I think we need a fence ID to get that specific fence we just created. I don't remember the fence ID, but there is an endpoint to actually list all the fences that we have created in a specific project.
Then are we going to use the fence in the creator?
Yes. When we created the fence, I didn't get any feedback. It just created the fence.
Yeah, we just created the fence, so.
But I don't know what the ID name, what they need that down.
Exactly.
So we have in the collection, I added the collection a list of fences. And the list of fences, if we pass the specific project ID, it can tell me how many fences we have, or which ones. Let me see.
We created 1,000 fences around Roswell or not, because we really wanted to find the aliens.
Correct. Let's see. Let's here the fences. It's just a simple HTTP GET call, and of course we have to pass our code.
We have a comment saying if you click on the fences creator, it also gives the ID in the pop-up.
Really? Where? Can I see it?
Let's see where.
Let me compare. First, let me get this one.
Let's compare.
Should be the same. Here it is. It's called Roswell. Yeah.
So we have Roswell.
Yeah. Should I go back to the Geofences Creator? Where?
Should we check?
So now
I think I'm suspicious.
Here it is.
There we go.
My apologies. I will overlook it.
No, this is good.
Okay. Very good.
Because it's easy way to pull it out of the fences creator, out of the the Geofences creator.
Yes, if you want to copy it. So
good tip.
I want to add my fence that I want to actually present here. This is the code. Looks like a lot of code, a lot of numbers. You have to have in advance. Well, considering that we are doing
geofencing.
Yeah, we are doing several things in this little code. Even that is a small version, small code, small sample. We're creating the project, we're creating fences, we are displaying it, we are actually sending the location, we're getting a report. So we need all this information in advance. So I have added this template that when the map, let me see if you can see it here. Oh, too much. When the map is loaded, I want to display this fence that I just created.
Yes.
And what I'm going to do is to use I'm going to get the fetch API from JavaScript in order to fetch the geometrical shape of the fence, create a layer on it. I put it on form in GeoJSON, for example, and just draw it, destroy it. So, okay, let me check. The fetch API just receives an URL and then it returns promises. It's a very, very simple, something like this. You call fetch, and then you pass something there, and this thing will return, usually is a response. Well, first the response, then we get the JSON. From the response, we have to get the JSON object, which I know is returning a JSON, and from the JSON, we can do something about it. So the first thing, we'll convert into JSON. And this then, come up. Well, down where we have the object, we can call it. We can call a function on it. Okay. And this function, when it finishes, I'm assuming it will have the data. As usual, by default, for now, let's just display the data to see what are we getting at. Now,
so then here we're taking the fence that we already created, and we're basically taking the data and putting it out, right, just for everybody to see what's going on. Or let's break down that line a little bit, because we have a lot going on in that one line of actually fetching everything. So,
so I haven't even put the API, the endpoint.
We're not done yet. Yeah.
I'm not even done.
We're not done.
So let's. I'm gonna move this down a little bit, so we'll not be. So usually when you use fetch in order to process JSON files, so you will have a JSON response. You will get the response, get the JSON, and from the JSON, display process it. Which
so
is
that's the quick overview of the process that's actually
a quite
happening.
Standard way to I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but this is how I actually learned to do the fetch API. Now, let's find out how to get the geometrical. It's called fences. Let me see. Should be Geofence Creator.
That's the next question, because we're not redrawing all the fences by hand.
We just found this one.
Yeah.
So we're just going getting this one. Let's go to fences services. Get the fences details. And from the fences detail, you just have to pass this URL ID, get your API key, and it's a post command or a get command. This is a get command. And then you pass the fence ID here and your API key. That's it.
And that's it.
No mystery here. So it's a no standard REST API.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to break down what looks like a lot of pretty complex code that we're working on behind the scenes of the geofences.
Yeah. So I know that it's TomTom.com and geofencing, and version number is 1. And give me from these fences, I need to pass now the fence itself. Okay, but the fence itself, I already have it. It's called fence. Actually, it's parameters. It's passing parameter here. Here it is, the fence itself. And then.
So in the end, it actually looks quite neat.
Then I will post the API key, and the API key we already have it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Which is up there. I think it's called API key. Here it is. Let's see. API key. So go to fences, fetch me the data in the fences of this fence specifically, and let's print it. And that happens every time the map is on load. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to check.
So let's check.
Let's check
let's
how
see what happens. Let's see what data comes out when we try to paint the fence.
Reload.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an error. This fence is anonymous. Don't define. Okay, let's check. I made a common mistake here. I looked at the response. You have the response. Please, just take the response and return the JSON. I forgot that. Okay. Let's see again. Reload. Oh, we got something. We got something. This is an object and it has a geometry, and the geometry has some coordinates. 13 array of 13 coordinates. You see, it's a polygon, and this is the, of course. Oh, got the name, even the name, correct name. So we have Roswell, and we have the coordinates.
And now we see that that's the data behind what we originally drew.
Correct. We have to convert this into GeoJSON somehow. So let's take a look. I think the geometry is actually it's already a GeoJSON because I see a polygon. Type polygon has coordinates. Type feature. Sorry, type feature plus geometry. I think it's gonna be easier than I thought. Let's see. So we have the
So then, depending on what we're geofencing, what makes it harder or more difficult, in your opinion, to geofence something? Like when you're going through this process for the first time.
What is more difficult?
Yeah, what makes it harder?
Not really. You have to be very careful to the amount of keys and use the correct endpoints, for example. Yeah, and sometimes you will see that the response generate errors, and you have to be aware of the errors that you will get, because then you will continue to actually do something. For example, if we are trying, as you will see later on in a moment, if you try to send a location and you have not agreed to set location,
we haven't set the permission to send locations back and forth, the privacy that we talked about, correct? For either of the APIs that we work with.
Correct. So let's add a layer here. Let's see, add a layer. So map, add a layer. Remember how to do that? It was so you pass a map, you have to add a layer and a
little bit of recap.
Yeah, I have a version here. Let me see if I find a little small copy.
This is us in a great moment of everything coming together on the stream. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm gonna call the layer Roswell. Let's see, type. Let's fill it. It's a fill. We can say that also. Well, we don't need a layout, but we need a source. Yeah, of course. The source, the data. We need to put the data. The data is usually JSON and the type. Type will be a GeoJSON, and the data itself of the GeoJSON is possessful data. This data is the same one that we just printed. Now, I think we have to paint. Let's add some paint and then. It's a
fill.
Yeah, it's a fill with the JSON data. So now we have the data, but it's not.
You could also have something like a feature.
Yeah, it has a feature. It should be inside of the data already, because it's already a GeoJSON, and I think this is paint, not pain.
Pain.
Yes, paint.
Even though it is maybe a pain.
No, this is fun.
Too great.
Okay, I think just fill color orange.
Geofence doesn't feel pain. This is an excellent point.
Yes, I think that would be the minimum. I know we could use a layout just to separate the lines.
When we don't have a shape, right? Because we created a custom shape, so we don't have a shape that we need to add in.
Well, we're saying that the shape is actually a fill.
Oh, it's a fill
shape.
So
we get the shape like a polygon that is filled with a color. That's the only thing I'm doing.
That's it, basically.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Wanna see it?
Let's see it.
Let's see it.
Let's see if we can geofence.
Voila! We have.
We love the color.
Well, yeah, orange. Very.
I can't miss it, even if I.
You can't miss that. I think we need some opacity.
We just blocked out Roswell. Like it just looks like its own military installment now.
Correct. Let's see.
Can we do some opacity? Yes, you read our minds. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much. 0.1. I don't know. Or maybe we can put a border, like an outline.
Yes, let's do an outline so we can see the city limits still.
Color.
It's a bright orange.
That's outline. Say a color.
Blue. Let's do a blue outline.
Okay.
Let's be very non-monochromatic.
Let's see. There it is. I don't see the blue much, but I do see the
I don't see the blue. It must be a very thin border. So we have like a now much more calm orange type of geofence.
Yeah, and now we can have like the little and
the alien is back.
Alien is back. Yeah. Okay.
ASMR clicking.
Yes. Click.
The clickety click is a very technical term. Jose and I were discussing this morning about marking the points and discussed that clickety click is in fact a highly technical term.
Correct. So what we're going to do is now we're going to use the location history API in order to send every time we click that position, because we are emulating the movement of the alien. Every time we click, we're going to store it back. We send it back. We store it. And let me see. Let's go back to the code then.
And we have to also be able to say we have permission to send and store the location like before.
Let's see how the API behaves.
Let's see what happens. We just go for it.
We just go for it. Maybe it's already there.
Just go for it. We try to send each position, each clickety click, so to speak.
Correct.
You might say.
So right now, when you click and click, oh, this is legacy code. Sorry, it says legacy code. That means I'm clearing all the markers, but I only have one. That's because it's coming from the previous demo, the previous code. Okay, so we put in the marker. All right, we have to create the marker. And oh yes, I had this little needle snippet of code to create the alien image of the marker, a custom marker that I copied from the developer portal in examples. Yeah, here. Let me show you.
Yes, we have an example on creating the custom markers, which makes it a lot simpler too. And also a lot more fun because you can have aliens as your custom markers, and you can feel accomplished.
So it's section of markers, custom markers, for example.
Also, we love these examples. So if you're new, go and look at them.
Yeah, we have a lot of examples of how to do anything, like routing with summary. You can select A to B, C. But
also, if you're stuck, they're really helpful because you can show what everything is supposed to look like as well.
Yeah, I like circle waypoints. For example.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to our hand, and I think we need to. Okay, let's open the documentation about the location, and how to set a position of the object. So we're going to position history. So let's say we're going to send a position. So to send a position. Oh, maybe people already noticed, or maybe they haven't noticed. Oh, but that we're using the object that it will be for the location API, location history API and the geofencing API interchangeable. And it's true, it's a good point that it's actually the same object is shared by both APIs. You can use the interchangeables. Wow. How's the weather over there in Austin, by the way? Here it got really dark.
In Austin? Oh, it got really dark on you all of a sudden. It is fine. It was thunderstorming earlier this week, but oh wow, it looks like Amsterdam just abrupt lighting change on his.
Yeah.
Looks
like a little storm coming in.
There's a storm coming in. It's the aliens. They found out. We knew this would happen.
Yeah, they're coming for us. So the camera is okay? Good.
Yes.
Let's continue with this.
I have a comment saying decades of research and finding aliens, and it's just that easy. Yes, it is that easy. It's just a regular Tuesday at TomTom.
So I created this template, this little called send position. We pass in the lat and long when every time we click on the map, and let me see the send position. Okay, I am storing this coordinate to keep always the last coordinate visible or handy, and then we are going to create a fetch call to send the location. Now, I can see in this crawl command that in order to send the location, we have to go this endpoint, and it's a HTTP post, of course, and we have to send a small object. And the small object we have to send with a geometry is a point, we pass the lat and long, and we are going to send also the object ID, which we already have, we already fetched. And I think that's why we have to create a little bit object first to do that. And let me see.
This is how we set up for getting the report back, which will include some of the distance of how far we are away from fence.
No, this is to send. This is to send the location.
This is just to send.
Just to send the location. Let's see. So that's why I have this position. And let me see. It has to be a JSON object, let's see. And I think the first step we have to have the type. It's a feature. I'm trying to guess a little bit. Yes, type feature, then pass the geometry. Let's see.
Geometry. Thunder?
Yeah, do you see it?
I can barely hear the thunder, but I can hear thunder, so there's some. And it got even darker.
Yeah, even darker now. If the viewers will excuse me for a moment, maybe in a moment I have to actually turn the lights on.
Your distance to the storm decreased by a lot.
By a lot, yes. So in the geometry we have passed something. Oh wait. Also have to pass the object itself. The object itself, we already know this is the object key that we already have created. And the geometry is to be a point. So let's see. Type. It's a point. Point. Then the coordinates of the point. Let me double check. Let's go back. Oh yeah, coordinates, and as you can see, it's an array. It's an array. The longitude, the latitude, and the altitude. Well, I think we can pass the altitude as 0 for now. So I think we'll be okay. It's as an array, but first goes to the longitude. Okay.
So this is where everything gets a little bit complex, because this is also just sending position through Location History API. So this is just the one function that we're working on here. So it's a little bit in the weeds, but that's what we're working on.
Correct. So we have this array, and the array, the first value was actually coordinates, longitude, then the coordinates, latitude, and then the altitude plus 0. So this is the object that we are going to send, and now we're going to actually, let's see if we can get the let's get the fetch key. Fetch API key is called Location History version 1, and then okay, I cannot remember. Location History version 1, history positions. Okay, I got it. So fetch, and let's see, fetch. We pass the URL, and pass the URL, comma, and then we have to pass the post, whatever value we're going to send. And at the end, of course, this returns a promise. And the promise, since you know what, let's display whatever we return. Sorry, response, and then we're going to console log, just to display the response. Okay, there is an error here. I don't know what's going on here. The fetch object is here. Then there's an object that you have to pass. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the post that we're gonna send, and URL. I'm going to copy the URL from the other screen from this developer portal. Okay. It's long. It's long.
I think with each line you write, the thunder gets closer to your house.
It's actually quite very
Because there's also some really good ASMR thunder happening while it's writing code, which is quite ominous.
Really?
We're creating the object, and then each line brings the storm closer and closer as the object nears completion.
Yeah. Okay, I have a tablet here, so I'll try. Okay. Okay, so we have the key, and then we're going to pass here the data. Okay. Oh, this is from fetch. Fetch, actually, we have to tell them what the options that we do with this fetch. And the first one is we have to switch this.
Let's explain what fetch is doing really quick.
Post. Yeah.
Let's see.
Header. And we have to tell them that it is a content content type. I think it's always application JSON, right? So JSON. And the most important part that we're sending is the body, because it's a post, HTTP post. And okay, we have this object, which is supposed to be passing here, position. Yeah. But this is an object, and this is also an object. I think we have to pass it into string format. I tried already, so it was a problem last time. So it have to be like stringify. And you put the location. Actually, not location, it's position. Yeah. So this is the so we are sending this as the options for the HTTP request, which is a post with this header, with this body. This body is the string version of this converted. That this is the object, and whatever I return, I just print it.
So we can see.
And this is a lot of thinking coming from here. I think I have to double check. Okay.
So
I think we are.
Let's see what we get back now.
I'll go. We're almost there. We're almost there. Let's see. Let's reload. So we have first the fence in our right side, and then whenever I click on it, it says I get an error.
We have an error.
Yes, I think we already know why.
Because we know that we need to give permission to actually send the location in the first place, which is what you have to do to set up to send, even though we have everything written out, to send to the location history.
It's true. It's a photo.
Emphasize pro tip.
Correct. When you send, you have to have permission to send it. You have to give consent, otherwise you will get a 403, which is forbidden. So how do we? This is gonna sound strange. How do we give consent? I consent to be store my locations.
Correct. Yeah.
I consent for the locations to be stored in this API key. And this consent is
because that ties them back
yes.
to your account, and that's why you have to go and specifically enable it.
Yeah, in the configuration service, set new settings values. We see here this is settings value and consent for storing objects in the history, and that is probably false. So I have in the Postman in my Postman collection, I have a post request authorization to store location, to which I already copied once. I have to check it once. If we're gonna send this is our API key. The parameters is the admin key. This admin key is actually correct. Correct. Let me just copy our admin key.
So this also helps us out quite a bit.
Yeah. admin key, we have the authorization, and we just send it JSON. And the body will say, please, we would like to set the storing the object position history to true. We are consenting on that. So this is important for applications that you want to store location for any kind of application. Like you have the truck, a person. Usually now for GDPR regulation, you have to actually ask, would you this application actually track your location or track this object? Please, do you consent to this information being stored in our servers? Remember that this information is stored in your project. We don't have, no other application have access to it. There is an extra layer of security to it, and you have control of the data at all times. You can, I will show you in a moment how to actually digitally delete the whole history of certain objects or anything. So I'm gonna send this.
And that's how we enable it. It's your, there we go.
Yeah, and I just got back to say yes. Now it's true.
It's true.
You have the consent, and if we go to the code again, let's see if I start clicking here. The response you see is not 403 anymore. Now it's a 201, which is okay. Which means the data has been stored. And it's interesting because now if every time I just click in here, I will see.
And then you see the location sent back now that we have the permission done where we can send them and we can store them. But like we said, we also show you, or we will show you a way to where you can actually refresh and you can delete all the location history because you have control over the data. So
that is true.
Send it, store it, and delete it so that it doesn't just live forever.
And I have something special for that. For you, Olivia, look at this. I have created, additionally to this code, I created something to fetch all these locations that are being stored in this code. And I will see. Let's see.
Because this is where we can actually create some fun things. Because now that we have the ability to send and store everything, and we can go ahead and mark all the points, we can do some fun things with it.
Correct. So let's see. I think I'm going to need all this data for now.
I'm going to need all the data. Yes.
Yeah. And I have the admin key, API key, and I'm going to.
I think the Storm is very happy about this privacy nod as well, because the Thunder's kind of moving up and down now.
Yeah. Wow. Correct. And I have this small code that is actually fetching the location history for that specific object ID. And I wanted to show you how it looks like.
So we tie it to the alien, so we're tracking the alien's coordinates.
Yeah.
We're on an alien hunt here, people.
Yeah. So I did this.
So quick shout out of using DuckDuckGo.
Voila. It's a small polygon.
So
I just fetched the
for
polygon.
Those who don't know, that is the military balloon that allegedly actually crashed in Roswell.
Oh yeah, that's the
doesn't look
story.
like a UFO.
I cannot put an alien face.
Yeah. So that's the path of the military balloon, aka the UFO that our alien is in. From many different angles, as you can see, flying this path.
Correct.
Path not accurate to the history, but
yeah. And I'm going to show you something. Let's say now that you have this one in the history, let's delete them. Let's see, I'm the user, I don't want this historical data anywhere. Like it's nowhere there.
Yeah.
Let's
we have to come back
the Postman collection. I have created a delete location history.
Yeah, and so this is unique to the little mini collection that we.
Correct. I think if you we're gonna keep using this collection even for the next Devisode because we're almost running out of time.
Yes.
But we're gonna increase this collection for the next Devisode, which also will have the geofencing reports, multiple geofencing reports, and we're gonna use also the notification API for this.
And that way it makes it easier when we actually want to push notifications of the different reports and everything.
Correct, because I don't want to get the report.
We don't want to redo all of this.
Yeah. No. So let's see. First, we have to get the admin key, the correct admin key. Where is the correct admin key? This is not the admin key. We let's get the admin key. I had a copy in the clipboard. So I'm going to go to
the admin key left along with the military balloon.
Yeah, I have the admin key. So with this endpoint, we delete everything that is related history-wise for this specific history, this admin key in my API key. Let's see. Send the request. Or let's see if we can move up. Deleting all history first, processing. Now, if we go back to our application and reload, nothing is there.
And now the UFOs are never there.
It's never there. But no problem. You can add more here.
We can keep adding more.
You can add more here. And we go back to the trace and see. It's back again.
And we're back.
We're back. So, how are we on time? We still have to do the geofencing report.
Ooh, we still have to do the geofencing report. We're coming up on time. What we can do is maybe we can group it into the next episode, or we can always stream it next week too. We'll see what works out best, because we still want to include the simple fence report, but we've taken everybody through a lot today in setting up the objects.
That's a lot of technical code.
Yeah, there's been
and we're going to be working. Yes. So what do you guys think? It's quite interesting to work on this with the Geofencing API and the location.
It's not trivial. The setup is not that bad, but when you get into it can be a little bit of work. So we'll save the simple fence reports for the next time.
This code is on the GitHub repository. You can have it totally free.
You can download it from GitHub and set it up and rewatch the stream and have fun with it. Okay.
I think we should close it for now. I think it's been quite a ride today.
Yeah, it's been quite the stream today. We tracked aliens. We also removed aliens. We've had ups and downs. We've had Thunder ASMR. So I think that's probably it for today.
Oh, it's really on top of us.
The storm is still looming closer over in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay,
well, I hope that you actually found this episode very interesting, and I hope that you can join us in the next one in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. We'll see if we can also add on some of the simple fence reporting. We'll be back always Tuesday after next, and you can find schedule below, and also the link that keeps scrolling by is to get more API credits so that you can keep coding and testing. And if you have more questions, ping us on Twitter. We tagged our Twitter below. And I don't know, happy mapping and alien hunting.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye.